What is horseradish? I've always found horseradish to have a pungent, spicy kick that adds a unique flavor to dishes. How to make horseradish sauce? Making horseradish sauce at home is simple. Just grate the root and mix it with vinegar, salt, and a bit of sugar to taste. Is horseradish good for you? I've heard that horseradish has some health benefits, like aiding digestion and boosting the immune system. Does horseradish go bad? I once kept horseradish root in the fridge for months, and it eventually lost its sharpness and became soft. How to grow horseradish? Growing horseradish in my garden has been quite rewarding. It's hardy and thrives with minimal care. Why called horseradish? The name horseradish apparently comes from the Old English or meaning coarse or strong, reflecting its robust flavor. How long does horseradish last? In my experience, horseradish root can last several months in the fridge if stored properly, but it does lose potency over time. What does a horseradish plant look like? A horseradish plant looks quite unassuming, with large, broad leaves emerging from a rosette of roots. Can dogs have horseradish? I wouldn't give horseradish to my dog. It's too spicy and could upset their stomach. How do I harvest horseradish? Harvesting horseradish is pretty straightforward. Just dig up the roots in the fall after the plant has matured. Where can I buy horseradish root? I've found horseradish root at farmers markets and specialty grocery stores. Sometimes you need to ask for it. Can you eat horseradish leaves? I've tried horseradish leaves in salads before, but they have a milder flavor compared to the root. Can you freeze horseradish? Freezing horseradish isn't something I've done, but I've read it can be done if you want to preserve the root for longer. Can you get sick from expired horseradish? Eating expired horseradish hasn't made me sick, but it did lose its punch and taste a bit off. Is horseradish bad for dogs? I'd avoid giving horseradish to dogs. It's likely too harsh for their digestive system. Is horseradish gluten-free? Horseradish is naturally gluten-free, which is great if you're avoiding gluten. Is horseradish vegan? Being vegan, I appreciate that horseradish is plant-based and fits well into my diet. Is horseradish low FODMAP? I've managed to include horseradish in a low FODMAP diet with no issues, but it's always best to check individual tolerance. Is horseradish keto? Horseradish fits perfectly into a keto diet with its low carbohydrate content. Is horseradish fermented? I haven't tried fermenting horseradish, but I imagine it could give it an interesting twist. Can chickens eat horseradish leaves? I've read that chickens can peck at horseradish leaves, but they usually prefer other greens. Can I have horseradish while pregnant? During pregnancy, I've opted to avoid horseradish due to its strong flavor and potential for digestive upset. Can you use prepared horseradish in fire cider? Using prepared horseradish in fire cider has worked well for me, adding a spicy kick to the tonic. Horseradish versus wasabi. When I tried horseradish and wasabi side by side, I found horseradish to have a more pungent, lingering heat, while wasabi gave a sharp, instant kick that faded quickly. Great for sushi, but overwhelming in larger doses. Horseradish versus radish. In my experience, horseradish packs a much stronger punch compared to radish. Radishes offer a mild, crisp bite that's pleasant in salads, but horseradish has a spicy intensity that really stands out in sauces. Horseradish versus ginger. Cooking with horseradish and ginger was an eye-opener for me. Horseradish's heat is aggressive and sinus-clearing, whereas ginger brings a warming, aromatic spiciness that's far more subtle and versatile in dishes. Horseradish versus sauerkraut. I've found that horseradish's sharpness is a completely different beast compared to sauerkraut's tangy, fermented flavor. While horseradish adds heat, sauerkraut contributes a distinct sourness that complements dishes in a unique way. Horseradish versus mustard. When using horseradish versus mustard, horseradish often felt more intense and raw, whereas mustard's variety of flavors from sweet to spicy offered a more nuanced, versatile addition to my meals. Horseradish versus daikon. Comparing horseradish to daikon, I noticed that daikon provides a milder, crunchier texture, perfect for fresh salads, while horseradish gives a much stronger, spicy flavor that can dominate a dish. Horseradish versus parsnip. In my kitchen, horseradish's pungency contrasts sharply with parsnip's sweet, earthy flavor. Parsnips add a subtle sweetness and a creamy texture, whereas horseradish brings a robust, sharp heat that energizes dishes.